Welcome guys, we're back at Volcan Azul here in Costa Rica. It's the second visit. We're standing here with the farmer Alejo. It's super nice to be back as always. We had some absolutely beautiful coffees last year from the farm. We had a great visit, we learned a lot, and we're really happy to come back and see so many new improvements, right? It's really amazing that you guys are just keep on pushing the work you're doing and pushing the boundaries for the quality that you guys deliver as well. First thing I want us to kind of discuss is what's been the main changes at the farm since our last visit last year?
Well, the main thing what we are going to have always new every year is the new varieties. Every year I'm looking forward to plant new varieties. So every year we're going to have something new. This year we already tried one San Ramon that we're testing.
Yeah.
Java, new Típicas. So yeah, the idea is to have this every year something new with the varieties. We also believe that we have improved the management of our plantations. You can see how they look like this year. They look better than last year. And we strongly believe that the quality comes from the field. So if we improve that and our raw material is great, our quality will get better. Then we're really excited also with the new process. Well, we made some tests last year with anaerobics, and this year we're doing a lot of new stuff with that. So yeah, we are going to have even a wider menu of flavors from our farm.
Yeah, and I mean that's one of the things that we think is the most amazing thing here at April as well, because I mean you have 40 plus varietals. We're able to just get such a diverse taste experience from the same farm, but we can also clearly taste in each coffee that it's a coffee with the Volcan Azul signature on it, right? And you mentioned the anaerobic tanks, which are really interesting as well, because we travel around a lot. We visit other farmers, and when we see most new farms doing anaerobic, that means basically a little plastic barrel hidden away somewhere on the farm with a bunch of cherries on it. No real measurements, no pH measurements, no temperature measurements. And what we see here at the Volcan Azul farm is as always, a really professional version of it, right? Do you want to explain a bit more in detail about that processing? How are you actually approaching it, since it's a new thing as well?
Yeah, well, we want to be constant with all our processes, so the only way we can do that is to make some measurements, have some data, and yeah, try to if you like a certain way we did a process, we can repeat that the next year. So we are measuring pH, the sugar content, temperature, and time at this moment. We also don't want to add something strange to our tanks. We just want to develop our natural flavors from the yeast we already have in our farm. So yeah, I think we want to have our particular flavors from our anaerobic coffees.
Yeah, that's always the key thing here. And part of the challenge with anaerobic fermentations in general, I think, is that usually some of the farm identity is lost in the fermentation in itself, right? And that's something that we at April really dislike. Because we're buying from Volcan Azul and other farms with the focus of representing the taste experience that you guys are creating, right? So when people push in anaerobic fermentation in a way that you can't taste where that coffee actually came from, it's not interesting anymore, right?
Exactly.
But we see some other improvements here as well. We see new drying tables. We see some new dryers coming up for the next season as well, which is really, really cool. Is there a change in how, tell us a bit about the harvest in general. You mentioned the picking started a bit later this year than what we're used to.
Yeah, normally it will start mid-December. This year it started mid-January. And that was because of the rains were a little bit delayed last year. So we had the first rain in May. So the blossom will start soon after, a week after the first rain. Normally it will be in April, the first rain. But yeah, every year is different. you were here yesterday, we had a really strong
We had a bit of
rain,
rain, yeah,
which
sure.
is very unusual, but that's the life of the farmer.
Yeah.
We have to adjust to the conditions we have every year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to be flexible. Do you have any? Is there any personal favorites you have coming up now in terms of varietals that you want people to kind of look out for a bit more for this upcoming season?
Well, of course, we are here right now at a geisha plantation. We are experimenting with different lines of geishas, so it's not just one line. We have been trying some of the mucilage of the different geishas, and you find a difference between them. You even have your favorite one.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So yeah, the new geishas are going. I think they're going to be awesome because the plantations are already bigger, and so we get a better quality. And then we have the new typicas coming out, the Java, Mocha. So, and at the end, never forget about our Caturra.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
And the traditional Ambillas Archie and our traditional varieties, which are always great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love that, and for you guys that haven't tried, the Caturra Catuai is what we're featuring in our sustainable coffee, for example, right? Which is basically just traditional Costa Rican farming, more or less, right?
Exactly.
And it's really interesting to be able to have both of it. But Alejo mentioned something really important here, which I think is often getting lost in the conversations about geisha or fancier varietals, is that we have so many different strains of them now, right? It's not fair anymore to just call them geisha, because they all yield differently, they all taste differently, they all demand slightly different terroirs as well. And one of the coolest thing with Volcan Azul is that we are actually able to cup different strains, right?
Exactly.
And that's a very, very unusual thing.
That's what I like the most about being a farmer, having all these different flavors from our own place. It's the same terroir, so you are just copying the variety there. And the same process we made several processes, but we can compare different varieties with the same process. And that for me is very interesting.
Yeah. That's amazing, and we already cupped a few coffees here at the farm, even if it is very early pickings. One of my favorite varietals from the farm, the Ethiopians, are coming up, and I still think it tasted amazing last year, and it tastes even better now. We had a beautiful Lorena as well, which I guess is also very early in the picking.
Yeah.
But I mean, other favorite varietals like SL28, Typica in general. We're gonna have the Typica for the first time in April this season, and that's really interesting. Typica has always been one of my favorite varietals, and to be fair, I mean, Typica is basically geisha Ethiopian and a lot of things, right? So quality-wise, we see really, really good coffees. Do we have any last things you want to add?
I'm really excited to send you. I will send you all the new samples of the new processes, and I know you will choose really nice coffees for this next harvest. And for us, it's also really important that you come here, that we cup together, so you can tell me, yeah, this coffee is great, please. So we can start planting more of that, like we are doing with the Ethiopians that you like so much. But yeah, when you're farming, it takes a couple of years, but we have to start as soon as possible.
Yeah, sure, and we're patient, right? But no, we're super excited this year. We already brought you guys a lot of different varietals and expressions from Volcan Azul last year, and we're gonna bring even more this year. Logistic-wise, what's going to happen is that we've tried some samples now. We're going to try milled samples later in the year. We're talking March, April.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's going to ship, and hopefully we're going to have it available for you guys more or less in June. We're planning for faster, but June is the idea, right? So super exciting. Thank you, Alejo, as always, for having us at the farm. It's always the best trip of the year, I think, and it's so amazing to see the amount of progress, because again, we would travel to a lot of farms, but it's so rare that we see this amount of progress from year to year. Oh. And I think that makes it really interesting.
It's always a fight. You always have to try to get better. It's the same for you at the roastery.
Yeah.
You can see the progress also in April in sustainable.
Hopefully. Cool. Thank you, guys.